Okay, guys, welcome back. So today we are going to be completing the app we've been building so far, but basically we are not really building it for building sake. We're just using it to learn how Figma works at the core. Okay. So because there are a lot of steps we've been missing, a lot of screens we are not adding, but basically we just want to get the core functionality out and then in the process learn how to use Figma. Okay. So today we are going to be taking a look at the profile and the transaction summary page. It's not a big deal. So we're not going to be doing the conventional profile. Okay. We are basically going to be doing a basic profile where, you just enter your name, your email and update, or you can change your password, nothing much. Okay. And then on transaction, we show you what you've spent so far and also a list of what you've actually spent on the app. So nothing serious, nothing much. Okay. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start. So I just went ahead to duplicate this amount meter. And also by the end of this tutorial, you're going to get your first assignment, which will be on aligning things properly. This particular app, so you're going to be aligning things properly. Okay, you'll be given a spec sheet and you're going to use that spec sheet to align your elements properly. So let's continue. So from here, I want to go ahead and just let's type in profile. Okay, and probably I want to duplicate this. Let me call this profile, and I want to go ahead and also duplicate this now. And here I'm just going to call it password reset. Okay. Now for this profile, because it's a top level, I'm going to remove these keyboards. I don't need these keyboards right here now. Okay. So for this, I'm going to zoom in, and for this profile, I want to move it up here. Okay. Remember, to move things up here, you need to go in and activate those guides so you can actually see where to place things. So this is it. So I obviously want to bring this. Okay, I can't see it because we have a background. Is probably on top. Yes, this background is on top. Profile guide. Okay, let me activate that guide there. Okay, so we want to make sure it's actually at the center. So let me move this profile right here. I don't need the chevron, so let me go ahead and remove it. Okay, so let me pick this and properly align it right here. Okay, and I'm probably going to select it and select maybe let me just move in. You want to make sure it's at the middle somehow, middle of that particular bar, right? So you want to probably select this profile. Now hold down Control and click on the nav bar so that it selects only the nav bar. Hold down Control, not Shift. Okay. So you can see I've selected the two of them and I probably just want to come here and align it better. You can see it has aligned. Okay. Okay. So I can continue my design by hiding this guide. I don't need this guide again. So yeah. Okay. I think by now let's get our logout. Let me bring that guide. Okay, so let's get our logout. So I'm going in here now, assets, and I just want to pick logout icon. Now you could actually get better icon, but for now let's stick with what we have so far. So logout, and you want to go ahead and make that color, it's not white, right? You want to go ahead and make that color primary 50. Okay, the same thing we have here, primary 50. Okay, great. So you want to bring this in right in here and position it here. And also you want to probably do the same thing because you want to align it. So I select this, hold down my control, select the nav bar. Okay, then align it properly. Okay, so at this point I can go ahead and turn off the grid. So I'm done with this particular page. And like I said, not much. So I just want to select this. Let me remove that balance. I don't need it. I just want to be able to, what I want here is full name. Okay, full name. Okay, full name. Oops, full name. Okay, and here we're going to specify user input. Nope. So there's no user input here. There's no user input. It's just the default name the person selected that is going to be there. So let me come here. User input. Yes, user input off. So let's type in the person's name. That is David Oche. Okay, if you've used another name, make sure you use that. So David Oche, and here we want to have email. So usually in forms like this, you want to use first name, last name. Reason being that you want to be able to when you want to salute people, you want to say hi or chair, you're able to target first name, okay? But we're just using full name because here we just want to learn how Figma works for now, okay? Then the same thing I want to do here, email, I might just say something like david.chair@gmail.com, okay? david.chair@gmail.com. And that gives us the email. So instead of pay now, we want to have update, okay? Update. So if you come to your profile, you can easily just update, you can easily just, if you click here and change it, you click on update, it updates basically. So that's what we're looking for. Another functionality we want to add is for the person to be able to change their password. And since this is a top level screen, we are going to bring in those, the tab bar, right? So let's bring it in. So I'm just coming back here to copy this, Ctrl+C, and then I'll go back there and paste it. So I'll just come back here, select the screen, and I want to paste it, Ctrl+V. Okay. Oops. What did I copy? I think I copied. Okay, let me just delete. I think I copied the full screen. Let me just select this and hit delete. Okay. And I want to go ahead and paste it right in here, Ctrl+V. And yeah, so we have that menu right there. And the next thing, we want to add a button here, or something that allows the person to change their password. So let me come back here and copy one of these things we used for the transaction. So I'm coming back here. I'm just going to select this. You see this transaction right here? Yes, I'm going to select that and I'm going to do Ctrl+C. You can also pick it from assets, okay? Because we have it right there in assets. Then I want to scroll, move down, select this, okay? Select this here, select this frame now, and let me do Ctrl+V, paste it in right there. And I want to bring it down here. And remember, we want to go ahead and click the content and make it 16 for our border radius. And let's add a stroke 50, right? 50, yes. So once we've done that, let's go ahead and make the font a little bit bold. So let me select this font, okay? Instead of this body base regular, I want to go ahead and make it body base bold, okay? And I think that bold is too much. Let's use that semi-bold we created, that body base semi-bold. Okay, great. Now the distance between this and this, let's go ahead and make it 24 or 32, okay? Let's move down and let's go ahead, okay? Let's go with 32. Okay, that's 32 right there. Okay, I think this is good. And let's change this transaction to change password. Change password. Oops. Change password. Okay, so we are done with this. So basically when you come here, okay, let me turn off this grid so you can see what we're doing. So once you come here, this is your profile. When you click here, you're on your profile. You can either log out, or you are seeing your name, you're seeing your email. You can click inside and update it, or you can change your password here. Now once you click on your change password, you probably want to come in here and change the password. So let's come in here, and here we can just type in change password. Okay, change password. Okay, so once you're here, change password. Instead of meter number, remember we're just going to select everything and make sure you're inside, and we want to select label. We want label. Okay, so for label, let's type in your old password. Okay, your old password. We also want the same thing to be inside that your old password. So yep, so that's what we want. And here now, for here, we are going to say, okay, your new password. Okay, so our label, your new password. So let me just go and make that old new. And I'm going to Ctrl+C and then paste it here and say your new password as well. Okay, so we're going to duplicate this. I don't want this available balance. Instead, we want to select this now. Okay, we want to select this, guys, and duplicate it. I need one more. Okay, and for this, okay, we are going to type in confirm password, confirm. Okay, confirm password. And we're also going to type it in here, confirm password. Now we are going to need an icon, confirm password. So since this is a password field, it's important we have that eye icon right there. So yes, so we are going to have those right icon. We are going to activate right icon and change it to eye. So I select, okay, so activate the right icon. So once activated, I'm going to select it, the same thing here. Okay, activate the right icon, and I'm going to select it now, and I'm just going to make sure it selects the icon frame. That's the boundary, not the icon direct. Okay, so yeah, okay, so instead of chevron, I'm just going to search for eye. So that's it. So this particular one, let's hide it. Let's choose the hidden eye icon. Okay, and do the same thing here. I'm already in, so you want to do the same thing right here. Okay, the I, just type in EYE, and that's it. They should choose this one. And also you also want to repeat the same thing here. Okay, here you go, EYE. Okay, so now instead of pay now, this is going to be change password, but then this button is only going to come up if the person types in select this, right? So it's not like a primary button, because it's not, people don't change password all the time, so you don't want to make this blue. So these are places where you use inactive buttons, because this is not something someone do all the time, so there's no need to make it a primary button. So we want to use your inactive button, and we didn't actually create an inactive button, but what we can do is come in here to just change this color. But before that, let me click here and then duplicate it, and then want to call this one password reset active. So we want to use this to simulate that the person have actually, typed in the password. Okay, so let's come here and make this grayed out. So we just, instead of that primary blue, we want to go down to our grays, and we want to use somewhere around 400, or let's say 500. Okay, let's see, 400 or 500. Let's see which one to use. I think we should stick with the 500. Okay, so let's go ahead and use our gray 500. So yeah, this is okay. So once the person types in, before the change password becomes active, so we're going to come in here now. Okay, so for this, we are going to envisage that the person have typed. So let's hide all those guides so that we know exactly what we're doing. Okay, guide, hide. Okay, guide here, guide. Okay, that's guide right there. Trying to pick it up, guide. Okay, I think, password reset active, that's what I'm looking for. Password reset active. Let me open it up, and I want to go down to guide, and I want to hide it. Okay, so now we are going to assume that, okay, the person have typed in their password here. So I come in here. Okay, so I want to go ahead and select this. Yes, the person user input. Yes, the person have entered something. So let's type in, maybe, let's say the person used David_22 as their old password. Okay, and let's also assume that the person decided to view what they are doing. So let's come in here and choose the other I, that is the I, not I off now. Okay, good. So for the new password, let's assume the person now, yes, there's user input. So the person now decided to use maybe David 2023 $. So I'm just going to copy that quickly and change the enter. Okay, change the eye icon, and also select this. Okay, then you also want to come in here and do that as well. So let's paste this in. Yes, user input, yes, and we want to paste this. So eye icon, change it. So let's assume the person decided, okay, to see what they're actually typing. So that's why we are changing the icon. So yeah, So with this out of the way, we've basically created the flow for the profile. So when you come to your profile, you can see everything, or you can just decide to, change your password, and this is how you change your password. Remember, you can decide to create the extra page where it loads and say, okay, password updated, okay, something like that. You can do that, but we're not going to do that right away because we are trying to meet up with time, okay? So this is the profile that we're going to use for now. So if you come in here, this is what you want to do. If you want, you can put the person's name at the top or whatever you want to do on the profile, okay? But this is the profile we're going to go with now. Remember, on the main profile page, you can still see these navigations. That's why you don't have these back buttons right here, okay? So let's come in here and start creating a transaction. Now for transaction, basically we are not going to do much. For transaction, we just want to show what the person have actually spent in that particular space and time, okay? So for transaction, let's go ahead and duplicate this frame. So this password reset frame, I'm just going to duplicate it and bring it down here, okay? Bring it down here, and I'm going to call this transaction summary. Let me zoom in, okay? Transaction summary, okay? And for this particular one, we don't need the form. I don't need the form here, and I don't need this background graphics as well, okay? So this our background graphics. I'm just going to hide it. I don't need it here. Now for this text and the chevron, let's go ahead and change the color from 50 to 500 and 900. Okay, so instead of this, we are going to say transaction summary. Transaction summary. Okay, and the next thing I want to do now is to go ahead and create the transaction summary. So we need a chart to just, illustrate whatever the person have spent so far, right? So let's go ahead and create a chart. So to create a chart, you can use Circle to create a chart, but I want it to be somehow more accurate because you can use your bare eye to know the percentages. So go to Figma here, and you want to go to plugin, and you want to click on FigPy, okay? Or go to this as the plugin, search for more, okay? Then type in FigPy. Now this should bring you to this particular application, okay? And what you want to do once you're here is to enter the data. So for us, we have three main things, right? Three main things the person is doing on this app, which is buying airtime, doing transfers, and utilities. And this is basically what we want to cover. So we're going to say, okay, for airtime, the person spent 12,500. Sorry, 12,500. Let me put 12,000. Or should I leave it at 15? 12,500. And for transfer, the person spent 150,000, 15 naira, okay? And for utility, the person spent 6,500. So yeah, so it gives us this here. And for our diameter, we are going to use 300 by 300. Diameter is basically the size of this shape, okay? The size 300 by 300. You can put 200, you can put 150, but let's use 300 by 300. I don't want to worry about theme because we'll change the color. So let's click on create pie chart. That will easily create this pie chart for us. So I'm just going to pick it, and I want to drop it in here now. So we are going to use green for the transfer, blue for the airtime, and yellow for the utility, okay? So let's come in here. You can see this is 6.5, and this 6.5 is for utility. So let me go ahead here and change that color to yellow, and let's use the 400, okay? Let's use 400 for it. Yellow 400, and this is 1,550. That's the biggest one, which is the transfer. We want to go ahead and use green there, okay? Remember, choose the same temperature, 400, okay? And the last one is the airtime. So the airtime, we want to go ahead and use blue 400, okay? So blue 400, there you go. Okay, so let me center this properly. Oops, okay, I think it's outside the frame. Let me just drag it out, and now let me bring it inside the frame. Okay, great. It's inside the frame now. Okay, so you want to be careful to make sure that it's inside the frame. Now, what I want to do now, actually, I don't want this because I want to be able to type something inside here. So I'm going to draw a circle. So since this is 300, I'm going to draw a circle of let's say 225. Okay, let me draw a circle. Hold down shift so that it's perfect. Pick the ellipse to hold down shift, and let me come in here and say 225, and I'm just going to put it inside here. Okay, and I want to color this white. Okay, so this is what I want. Let me center it with this. Let me select this guy and center them properly. You can see I'm selecting the two of them. So this is what I want. I want it to give me something like a donut chart. Okay, so this is what I want, and I want to right click the two of them now and click on frame selection. So for this, I just want to come and name them donut charts. Donut charts. Yep. Oops. Donut charts. Okay, so this is what I want for this particular place. So next, I'm going to pick my text tool and let's type in 169. Okay, 050. I think that should be the total of what we have right there. Okay, you want to be as realistic as possible. Let me go in here now and change the color to our dark blue. Okay, and for the font, let's leave it at should we go with, let's go with 28. Okay, 28 here. Let's go with that 28 and that H3. Okay, so let me drag this inside here. Okay, and let me center it so it's part of that frame. And you also want to pick your text tool again, and let's type something like you. Okay, you spent. Okay, we just want to, like, you spent so amount last 30 days. So let's come in here, and I want to go ahead and choose our normal fonts. Normal font base 16. Okay, and it's not bold, the normal one, base 16. Okay, and let's also give it that color right there, 900, and let me drag it right inside here. Okay, so you spent and Control D, this also amount. Let's double click that and put in last 30 days. Okay, so now I'm going to select this 3, 1, 2, 3, and Shift A in an auto frame. Let's go and make the space between them to something like around 4. Okay, so let's enter it properly now. So this is what we have, but then we want to also give context, because if we just say you spent this and this, how does the person know what they've spent so far? In fact, how do they even understand this color code? So we're just going to create something else. So let's pick our text tool and let's type in airtime. Let's start specifying that the person bought airtime, and this, let me duplicate this. Okay, the person bought airtime worth of 12,500 naira. Okay, 12,500 naira. For this one, I want to make it bold. Okay, let's go with that bold, that semi bold we created. Good. So let's do Shift A, and yeah, for this one, let's space them out automatic so that everything will balance and fit out well. Okay, so let's activate the grid so that we can actually adjust the size of this grid to be full width of our 32px margin. So let me select this now, and I want to move very close. Okay, let me just add the padding first. So for my padding, let me go ahead and put in 16. Okay, so 16. And for the fill, we want to go and put in white right there so that we can actually see what we are doing. So let me adjust this to this grid. Okay, also adjust this side to the grid. Okay, so this is what we want to do, and let me deactivate the grid. Okay, so this is what we have here, and we want to also go ahead and make here 16, the corner radius. Okay, oops, I think I made something else 16. Okay, Control Z. Okay, so make sure this is selected. Select this, and then let's make it 16, and let's also activate clip content. So we just want to indicate with the color which one is which. So let's come in here for the indication. Let's add a stroke. This stroke, let's make it 8. But for this, we just want it to be on the left hand side. So select left. So that's what you want. Let's try 16. Oh, it's too much. Let's go back to 8. Okay. Then for the color, we want to go ahead and use that blue 400. Oh, okay, so we have it there, blue 400. So with this, they can actually, okay, I think 16 is much. Let's do 8. Okay, so with this, they can actually know, okay, this is blue. Okay, the next thing now I want to do is probably duplicate it, Ctrl D. And for this, instead of blue, I want to go ahead and choose green 400. Okay, green 400, and also duplicate this. And instead of this, I want to go ahead and choose yellow 400. Okay, that's the one 400. So let's go ahead and start editing. Let's edit this. Instead of airtime here, we have cash transfer. So this will give the person an idea of what they spent their money on. So here we have 150 by 050. Remember, if you don't choose space between, you won't get this. So make sure the auto layout is set to space between. And then utility, okay, payment. Oops. So utility payment, and here you want to go ahead and add 6,500. So I want to now select these 3, 1, 2, 3, okay, and do Shift A. And for the space between them, we're just going to maintain 8, right? And let's arrange it properly. Okay, great. The next thing I want now is to allow the person to view all the transaction. So I'm just going to go back and pick that particular, or let's come into assets instead of scrolling back up, and let me cancel this. I want to pick that transaction, the transaction, I think transaction with the arrow. Yes. So this is what we want. We want this guy right there. So let's zoom in. Okay. So once I zoom in, I want to arrange this properly, and I want to give this the outline. Okay, that's stroke 50. Okay, stroke 50, and also clip content and make this 16. Okay, that's what we want. Now for this, we're going to click on this and we're going to put in all transactions. So we're just going to make it bold. Instead of regular base, we want to go and choose regular bold. That's regular base bold. That's this one, okay? Okay, that's the semi-bold we created later. So yeah, so this is the page. The page is ready. So let's just do some basic alignment, okay? So sorry, basic spacing. So let's click this and let's see distance from here, 33. Let's just push it up so it's 32, okay? And from here, let's also repeat the same thing. Oops. And see, this our circle here is having a decimal number. Let me go and make it 300. Okay, and also here on the height we want to choose 300. So make sure it's a whole figure, not a decimal figure. Okay, you don't want to work with decimals in most cases. So 48, we want to go ahead and make it 32. Okay, so 32 is fine. And from here, so since this is not really close to these guys, we are not going to use 32. So let's go down more at 40. Okay, so we just have that clear demarcation. So let me center it properly. Okay, perfect. So now we have our transaction summary page. Okay, we have our transaction summary page. And the next thing we want to do now is to create the full page. So when you click on all transaction, you should just take you to a page where you can view all the transactions. So let me select this and duplicate. And I'm just going to say all transactions. Okay, now here, instead of transaction summary, I'm going to say all transactions. Okay, and the next thing we want is we probably want search bar and a button. Okay, search bar and a button, and those are our transactions. Okay, let me delete all this now, and let's click this and activate our grid. Okay, so to create our search bar, I will just go back and get our input field, drop it here. Okay, we don't want all these other things. We don't want all these other things here. Okay, so let's deactivate the label. We don't want the label. We don't want the extras. Okay, we don't want the extras. We don't want the left icon. Okay, so what we just want here, okay, user input also should be off. So here, let's come in here and let's type in search transaction. Okay. And usually you want to give like a context, maybe tell the person to search by date or by whatever. Okay. You want to give context, but we'll take a look at all those things when we get to UX. Okay. For this eye icon, we want to click here and change it to search. So let's go search. Okay, so let's choose that search right there. So now we have our search. Okay. And the next thing we need to make this page complete, let's also check what did we use here from here to here, 32. Let's repeat the same thing, 32. Okay, let's go down to 32. Okay, so yeah, the next thing we need now is a list of those transactions. So I'm just going back up to pick it. Okay. So back on this page, we created this transaction. Meanwhile, later on, we edit this transaction because we also want to use the color codings right here. So those ones that are airtime, we want to give it the color for airtime, and those ones that are for utility, we also want to give it the color for utility. Okay. So let me just go ahead and copy this particular thing and then go back there and paste it. So once I come back to this page, I'm just going to go ahead and click on Ctrl V, and then I have this transaction right here. Okay. But the way this is, you already know that we are not going to need this arrow again because we are inside already. So let me go ahead and then hide this arrow, go to layer, because we didn't give this Boolean properties. So you can see the importance of Boolean properties. If you don't use Boolean properties, you might need to go inside to edit things. So let me go ahead and hide that. And for this guy, I think okay, let's bring it back here to the left. So push it back to the left. So let's just leave it as transactions, and space between them, since it's let's come in here and put in, select the whole thing. Why am I selecting one? Okay, let's push it down. That's it. Let's go ahead and I think 16. Okay, good, because we've been using 16. If you go back, right, we want to just maintain this form of consistency. And lastly, we want to pick a button. Okay, and that button, we should just create something here in case they want to download all their transactions. Okay, they want it like a statement, so we can just come in here and say something like download full statements, download full statements. Now we are not going to be creating screen to indicate this download full statement, right? But already you know how it works. This should give you an idea. Okay, when we get to UX and user flows, you understand most of these things. So for now, we are done with this particular page. I'm just trying to make it this. So instead of a blue here, instead of that, we want to go and make it secondary, because it's not like everybody wants to download full statements. Okay, but it's not inactive button instead, rather. So let me just select this now. Let me select this, guys, and increase it. Okay, so let's increase it. Let's increase it. Let's go down. Okay, then for this particular guy here, I want to make it to just move that a little bit. I want to duplicate this. I just want to add more. Okay, duplicate this, click on it and duplicate like 2 more. Ctrl D. Oops. Nope, that's not what we want. Okay, Ctrl D and Ctrl D and Ctrl D and Ctrl D. Remember, you can edit all these things later on. So let's come in here now. What height are we using? 548. Yeah, should we use 548? Okay, let me just make it 560. If your own is 548, you can use 548. Let me just make mine 560. Okay, so with 560 done, let me move this down. And let me now, select our spacing. When it's not very close, we normally use 32. So let's maintain the same thing. This is 23. Let's go down to 32. Okay, 32. Okay, great. So now let me go ahead and turn off this grid so that we can actually see what we've done so far. So as you can see, right here, you have this sort of screens for the profile and the transaction. So for the transactions, once you go to transaction summary, you can view like a quick chart of how the person is spending on that particular, on the Spendy app. And when you click on all transactions, it brings you to this page where you have all the transactions. The same goes to the profile page. So if you're here again, congratulations, you are almost done with, learning Figma. So there is a lot that we've covered already. At least the essence right now, the essence of this first month you've covered so far, right? It's not really to start, designing on your own. At this point, you still can't really design on your own, like, trying to be creative and all that. No, but the essence is for you to be able to replicate design. So if you should see design somewhere right now, you should be able to bring it to Figma and try to replicate it, because that is how you learn, and also that is how you begin to master Figma. Don't try creating things off head right now. I'm pleading, I'm begging. Okay, don't just open Figma and try creating things off head. At this stage, anytime you open your Figma, make sure you have a reference image you are trying to recreate. That is how you become great. Okay, so at a point you start creating things on your own, but at this stage, please don't try. You are not impressing anybody yet, except maybe you're a graphic designer, okay, for years. If you've been a graphic designer, you can try creating things, okay? But if you're just starting out your design career, please don't try to impress yourself at this stage. If you open your Figma, make sure you have a reference image that you're trying to recreate. That way you get better, okay? So guys, see you in the next class.